Hello, here we are with a hands-on with the Sony Xperia Z2, the successor to the Xperia Z1, which has proven rather popular. So this is the IP55-58 rated device. Let's start by taking a look at the display. So it's a 5.2-inch Full HD display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. There's a whole host of technology in here, including Sony Bravia engine, X-Reality for mobile, and Triluminos technology, which essentially means you're going to get a crisper, sharper image with more true-to-life colours. So above the display, we've got the Sony logo, and we've got a 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera. And we've got a few sensors just behind the front panel of glass. Now, we've got no capacitive buttons. They're all built into the software. So down here is just glass. Now, at the very top and very bottom of the device, we've got stereo speakers to really give an awesome sound on this device, and it's a massive step up from the Xperia Z1. Taking a look at the right hand side of the device then, at the top here we've got the micro SD memory card slot. Now that's under a cover for the IP rating, but you can insert a memory card up to 64 gig in capacity in there. The device has 16 gigabytes of internal storage out of the box, approximately around 12 of which is available to you because of the operating system install. We've got the very prominent power button centrally located with the volume up and down key just below that. Following down, we then have the camera button on the lower side of the right hand side of the device here, and that then follows round to the bottom of the device where we have the microphones. We then have a lanyard attachment just in the bottom corner, and that follows round to the bottom left hand corner. Coming up on the left hand side of the device, we've got the magnetic charging dock connector just there, and then we've got one large cover which goes over the micro USB and micro SIM card slot. Where previously there have been two covers, there's now just one bigger cover. So this micro USB port is for charging. It's also for USB hosting, and it can do video out with MHL version 3 support. So it's a micro SIM card there. Now these port covers can be a bit fiddly and tricky to get used to. So you can use the Sony DK36 magnetic charging dock, and that just connects those two pins. You set it in landscape mode like that, and that charges the phone without the need to connect any cables via these fiddly covers. On the top then we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, and we've got another microphone. Now the headphone jack has been treated with a special coating to ensure that that remains waterproof. There no cover is needed on that. On the back, we've got the 20.7 megapixel camera with LED flash. We've got lots of technology built in here, including Sony's G lens. We've got a little NFC logo just here, and this is where the NFC chip is. We've got the Sony logo here, which is under the glass. It's all smooth here, it's not raised or anything. And then we've got the Xperia branding just down the bottom here. So the front and back panels are glass. What Sony have done on the Z2 is do away with the anti-shatter film that has been seen on the Xperia Z1 and Z1 Compact, which means it's slightly nicer to the touch and it doesn't scratch as easily as the anti-shatter film. So that's a positive for the device there. So under the back cover is a whole host of high-end specifications that you'd expect from a device like this. Now, in no particular order, there's a 2.3 gigahertz quad-core processor. It's got 3 gig of RAM, so this device is going to run lightning fast. It's got 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Miracast technology, DLNA, Bluetooth, GPS, including GLONASS for a more accurate position. We've got the camera on the back that we mentioned, which has got 8 times digital zoom. It's also got 4K video recording on this. Yes, that's 4K. Some of us don't even have 4K displays in our homes as yet. There's also a whole host of other camera functionality, which we'll come on to in a few minutes. And the camera on this is the same that's in the Xperia Z1 and the Z1 Compact. They've actually made some differences to this camera. Although the hardware is the same, the images are quite a bit better. And the images in the Z1 weren't bad by any means. So lots and lots of functionality within this device. There is also a 3,200 milliamp hour battery. Of course, it's fixed. The device weighs in 163 grams, so it's not light, but it's got glass on the front and the back, and round the side here, this nice finish is because of the aluminium frame. So it's a solid device. It's a little bit squarer than some might like, but the corners have been rounded off a little bit more from the original Xperia Z and Z1. So all in all, this device has what it takes for the business user, just the gadget lover, and even if this is your first time to a smartphone and you're going to splash some money on a device like this, you're going to get a lot. You've got Android version 4.4 out of the box, so I'll just go and show you that right now. So Android version 4.4.2, so you've got the latest gear right here in your hands. It's also known as the D6503. So whilst we're in the settings menu, we might as well just have a look at some of the features here. Of course, you can sync up all your various accounts to this device, from Google to Facebook to Twitter to your Sony music accounts, etc. You've got your setup guide, backup and reset. You've got your language and input. This supports a whole variety of languages. Check out our other videos to see that. You've got your location and you've got security options as well. Power management. So this is a big feature for Sony devices. Sony's stamina mode here. So you can see at the moment we've got 89% battery, but with stamina mode turned on, we get an estimated battery time of 4 days and 11 hours, which is quite impressive. You can turn that on and off at your will, but by turning it on, it optimizes the device performance to enhance the battery life. Now, you should easily get a day out of this because it's a big old battery, but then again, there's a big old screen and you're likely to be a power hungry user. So you have to sort of tweak this to make it work for you, but there's lots of customization available here, and most people should get a good day out of it, maybe two. So storage, well, you can see we've got 11.57 gig on the phone, of which only 4 is available. Now, that's because we've got lots of content on the phone. Out of the box, you should have about 12 gig available to you. You've got the SD card expansion slot, so you can get a further 64 gig. And with the micro USB, you have USB host as well, so you can connect a thumb drive to this to expand your memory even further if needs be. So under the display, we've got a few options here. So X-Reality is one of the features that we've talked about. You can turn that on or off, and that basically enhances images where possible. You can control the brightness, so you can have it to adapt automatically, or you can set it manually. You can control the white balance on the screen, which is one of the newer features on the Xperia line of devices, so that the colors are balanced perfectly for yourself. You've now got this smart backlight control, and this basically works by keeping the screen on when you're looking at it. So it uses the front-facing camera essentially to see if your eyes are still on the screen. We've seen this sort of feature on Samsung Galaxy devices. You can change the font size. You've got tap to wake up, and you've got notification LED light, which appears up in the speaker here. It's sat behind the speaker. It's not too bright and doesn't distract you. The tap to wake up, let me just show you that. You may have seen this on an LG device. So there we go, there's the touch to wake up. So we've got sound controls. So you've got sound effects here. So Clear Audio Plus is designed to optimize the sound settings, and a dynamic normalizer for minimizing volume differences between videos or songs all help with these sounds on this device. You've also got options for the audio accessories, including noise cancelling headphones and the interesting stereo mic STM10, which is an optional accessory available from clove.co.uk, which allows you to get stereo sound when recording video. Now, because this records 4K, sticking in one of those microphones is going to enhance the features of this device and basically make you take better videos. So it's often worth investing. And you've got all the other sort of standard sound options that you would expect. Sony have got two home options, so you've got Simple Home or Xperia Home, and the idea behind this Simple Home is designed for those who are perhaps a first-time smartphone user or aren't too confident with Android or want a more simplified setup. You've got all your usual personalization options here, so wallpaper, lock screen, quick settings. You can manage your notifications, status bar icons, lots and lots of options. We could spend a lot of time going through all of these. You've also got motion, so this is smart call handling, and you can answer and reject calls and turn off the ringer using gestures. So we can tap in here and it explains a little bit more. And we've seen this before on other devices. Of course, you've got your standard Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and you've got your data usage monitor. You've got Xperia connectivity here, which has, again, a lot of options, including your screen mirroring, your media server settings, DualShock Wireless 3 controller, because this is a PlayStation certified device. And then you've got even more, including tethering and portable hotspot, NFC, your internet settings. So this device is packed full. So at the home screen, let's take a look at the notification bar. We pull this down and you've got a couple of options up here now. You've got notifications, and I've got one here from WordPress. I can just clear that. But I've also got quick settings as well. Now, usually on a lot of Android devices, you have settings to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and things like that up in the top bar, but Sony have done away with that in the order to give you more notifications here. And you tap quick settings and you've got your customized list of settings here. So I've got access to the full settings or a few of my favorites. I can click edit and I can go through to a list that I can customize. So I could tap which ones I want to appear. I could have them all, and I can even move them about. So if I move sound right to the top and then follow that by Bluetooth and I come back, next time I go into the quick settings on the notification bar, you'll see how that has changed. You then have your sort of standard customization options. So I've pinched in on the screen. I can go through my home screens. I can set different ones to be my home screen. So pressing the little home icon in the corner like so. I can actually delete complete screens by clicking the little X icon if I want, and I can go into widgets, app, wallpapers and themes. Sony are quite good on the themes. You get a few different options here to sort of personalize it and just give your device a little bit of a different feel. So on the device, you get all the sort of standard Google applications, from Chrome to Google Plus to Maps to YouTube. It's all installed on here. Of course, you can download all your favorite apps from the Google Play Store, and Sony do include a few of their own as well. Now, those will be personal opinion as to whether they're of any benefit to you. So you've got the Music Unlimited services, the video services, you've got an Office suite on here, you've got Pixlr Express. You have got the PlayStation Mobile, of course. You've got Social Live, which is your live stream to Facebook. Social Life News, Sony Select. You've got Xperia Sport. Smart Connect is a great little app if you use it correctly. You've got Track ID and Track ID TV. So there's loads of features that they have added on here, and that's what takes up some of the additional memory. But if you use them and embrace the Sony ecosystem, you could get a really good user experience. Now, as we flick through the settings menu, if we come all the way across here, you've got all this control over your apps tray, so you can have it in your own order, alphabetical, most used, installed. You get the idea of how you can move it around, and of course you can add apps to your home screen, so you can see how our home screens here differ slightly based on our customized setup. I don't need to show you the web browser, that's fairly self-explanatory. You've got your standard sort of text messaging application, and of course the device works in portrait and landscape mode as well with the keyboard there. The big 5.2-inch screen makes it nice and easy for typing on the display. We've got the running apps button here where we can scroll through and see what's running. And then we've also got a variety of little small apps here. So you can see down here, if I was to tap on that, I get a little timer come up on the display. This sits above anything else, so I can move it around and I can set my timer if I like. I can close it. I can go back in and I could have the calculator, and I could also open up the sound recorder too. And these both sit on the screen like so above the Android operating system, so I can still be using Android in the background behind, but these small little apps sit on top and work until I close them down. Sort of fairly basic phone dialer, don't really need to explain that, you get the idea, but nice and big on this screen, and the sound is very good as well. Okay, so let me show you something that's probably going to be of a lot of interest to you, and that's the camera. So if we launch into the camera, first of all, we're in Superior Auto mode, and this is the main point and shoot mode that you have on the Z2 and other Xperia devices, and it's the main way you're going to shoot. Now in Superior Auto mode, the camera adjusts the settings to the scene you're selecting, so it tries to depict what you're taking a photo of and adjust the settings accordingly. You've got the camera shutter button, you've got video recording right here, and you've got a shortcut through to the photos and videos you've already taken. You've got control over your flash and the way that works. You can switch to the front-facing camera if you like. There we go, that's me. I'm just covering up the camera with my finger there. I can flick back to the rear camera and through like that. You've got further settings here with lots of different options. So it's going to take some time to get it set up best for you. So you can turn things like microphone off, steady shot stabilizes the shot. There's no optical image stabilization here, but steady shot helps in its absence. You've got geotagging, auto upload, lots and lots of options there. It will take you some time just to configure it to your personal setup. Now you can use volume keys to zoom in with the camera on the Z2. Now it's not bad on the Z2, but any camera when you zoom in ends up pixelating the image somewhat. So try and avoid it where possible, but if needs be you can take an image. Just be aware that when you're in full zoom you can sort of see the pixelation around the subject. Now through this button on the bottom here, this is where you can get to all the different options in the camera, and Sony have done an awful lot of work here. So Superior Auto mode is the main way. Now you don't actually take the images in full 20.7 megapixel mode if you like in Superior Auto. You need manual mode for that, and then this is where you have a lot of control. You can adjust more and more settings from within here, you know, from the video size to the photo size. You can see here full 20.7, and then it stages it down as well. You can control things like the white balance to get it perfect for yourself. You've then got the option to switch between photo and video here, and then you've got the relevant shutter icon for that. Other modes include 4K video, so if we click on this here, we can record in full 4K from this camera on the back of the device. Now, the screen on the Z2 is not 4K resolution, so you can't actually watch it back in 4 full K. You can watch it back in 4 full K if you go out via the MHL connection, but at the time of first launch, really, 4Ks tellies are in their infancy and the adapters don't yet exist for MHL3, so the phone is somewhat ahead of that. But 4K footage scaled down on a 1080p screen, be it the phone screen or your HD display such as your monitor or TV, is going to look better when scaled down on the smaller screen, and we see evidence of that. Other options you've got a time shift video. Essentially this is a slow-mo option, so you record your footage at full speed and you can choose where to slow it down in the video recording. So just to give you an idea, let's just move the camera about, take some footage, stop it, and you can see now you've got a track of the video, and you can adjust where the slow-mo exists and for how long for. You can have it in multiple places if you want. And then if I just play that through for you, this isn't the best demo, but you can see how it just slows things down a little bit. And then when it comes out the slow-mo section, it speeds up and then slows down, and you can save that if you want. Background defocus, it gives you a bit of an artistic flair here, so you can take a subject and sort of blur out the background a little bit and give you that very artistic look. Now it won't always be able to do it on certain subjects, it depends on what you're taking a photo of. Now do be aware when taking shots in this mode, it takes images in 8 megapixel resolution rather than full 20.7 megapixel. You've got the AR effect, which you will have seen demos of before no doubt. You've got Info Eye, which gives you information based on the locations that you're pointing the camera at. So it could be a bottle of wine, it could be the Eiffel Tower, and it comes back and gives you information on that. You'll need an internet connection for that. Time shift burst allows you to take lots of photos in quick succession. Social Live is for live broadcast to Facebook. Sweep Panorama and Vine are fairly self-explanatory as well. If you want further info on any of these, check out our YouTube channel, as some of these are covered in more detail. Creative Effect, I'm going to touch on that last because this is quite a cool thing here. Now, it's taken a little bit of time to load because this is a pre-production model, but basically you've got lots of different options here with your image. Lots of different effects to make it funky and a bit fun. Now, this isn't going to be something you're going to be doing every day. I appreciate that. But if you've got some time to kill and you want to play around with images, or you're on holiday, you want to take something a little bit different, a little bit of fun, this is really quite a nice touch. There's lots of options here and you're not having to add on another app, and I like it a lot. So you select the one you want, you come back out of it like that, and you can take your picture. Now, depending on the setting, you'll have different adjustment options. So let's just go into Vivid. So if I go into here, you can see I've got a little scale and I can tone down the color back to the more realistic right through. So there's lots of options to play about with right there. So this camera is pretty special on here. It probably, for the most part, will replace your dedicated camera or camcorder for most people. So let's just scroll you through a few images we've taken here then. So you can see we've got the pencil sort of shot there, and then we've just done that slow-mo. So that's a lot of the points covered. The last thing I just want to show you on this phone is the speakers. So you've had a little bit of the sound come out of here, but let's just go to YouTube and just show you a video and give you an idea of the sound output from here. So if we play this video here, so I'm going to turn that right up. Okay, so you get an idea of how loud it was, and it's not, you know, a scientific test, but the decibel meter that we brought in there gave you an idea. Of course, that will differ based on how close you are to the speakers and what you're playing, but it gives you an idea of the loudness of it. We're really impressed with these speakers on here. It's a definite step up from the Z1. The loudness is pretty good as well. The audio clarity is good, but not quite as good as the HTC One, but you can only really notice the difference when you put them side by side. Of course, this is also an IP-rated handset. You've seen the demos before, but let's just show you anyway. So there we go. There's the phone in the water. Now, I didn't play a video or anything. You've seen the demos before, but there we go. That's the Sony Xperia Z2. That's our hands-on. Be sure to check our YouTube channel for a full review very shortly. So that's youtube.com/Clove Technology. If you liked our hands-on, give it a thumbs up with the like button or leave your comments below. Thanks for watching.